Today we're going to talk about the respiratory and digestive systems. To the left you see a picture, a diagram of the respiratory system, and to the right you see a diagram of the digestive system. And with these diagrams you see the different parts that make up each of the organ systems. The respiratory system, its job is to function to get oxygen from the environment and remove carbon dioxide and other waste from your body. So the respiratory system's job is to allow you to inhale the oxygen that we need and to exhale the carbon dioxide that we do not. Your body needs oxygen to survive. Without the oxygen, cells would die. Inhaling, this is where oxygen enters and it is transported throughout the body. And exhaling, this is where air contains more carbon dioxide and less oxygen than the air that you inhaled. Exhaling is important because high levels of carbon dioxide will destroy cells. Body works together to maintain homeostasis. And we just talked about homeostasis in the last PowerPoint with the skeletal and muscular systems. And we'll be talking more about homeostasis later on as well. If levels of oxygen or carbon dioxide change, your brain or blood vessels signal the body to breathe faster or slower. That's why whenever you're out running, doing different types of activities, exercise, well, if you're breathing heavier, then that means that you need more oxygen. If you're breathing normal, then you're just requiring the normal amount of oxygen. But whenever you're up, moving around, maybe running, and you're breathing more rapidly, then that means that your body is requiring more oxygen in order for it to function. Cellular respiration. This uses oxygen in chemical reactions that release energy. The respiratory, digestive, and circulatory systems make cellular respiration possible. This is where cells use oxygen and glucose to release energy for the body. The process of respiration includes the nose, throat, and trachea, where air enters through your nose, it travels down your throat and your trachea. Lungs, this is where the air passes through the bronchial tubes into the lungs. Oxygen passes through the alveoli and is dissolved into the blood. At the same time, carbon dioxide leaves the blood and enters the alveoli. If you've ever heard of somebody having bronchitis, well, that affects the bronchial tubes in the lungs. Ribs and diaphragm. This is where the rib cage expands when you breathe to make room for the lungs to expand and fill in with air. Inhaling, this is where the diaphragm contracts and pulls downward, and exhaling, this is where the diaphragm expands and pulls upward. The larynx is considered the voice box because the air causes the vocal cords to vibrate and produce sound. So without that air striking your vocal cords, you wouldn't hear any kind of sound. You wouldn't be able to speak without that air hitting those vocal cords. And the respiratory system is responsible for several of the actions that you do on a daily basis, which include talking, coughing, sneezing, sighing, yawning, laughing, crying, and hiccuping, or hiccup. And again, this is a picture of the respiratory system. The digestive system. Nutrients are substances that enable the body to move, grow, and maintain homeostasis. Digestion is a process of breaking down food into usable materials. The digestive system performs the job of moving and breaking down food. Peristalsis. This is where material is moved through the digestive system by wave-like contractions of smooth muscles. When you swallow, as that food is traveling down your esophagus, well, it's moving in a wave-like motion due to this peristalsis. It's causing it to go down into your stomach. There are two different types of digestion. First, you've got mechanical digestion. This is the physical changes that break down food into smaller pieces, such as when you're chewing. Your chewing is breaking down that food into smaller pieces that's allowing you to swallow it. And chemical digestion, this is the changes in taste. For example, a cracker, after you or while you're actually eating it, right before you swallow it, it turns sweet. And crackers aren't the only food that changes taste. There's several different types of foods out there that changes in taste as you digest it. The process of digestion starts with the mouth and the esophagus because the teeth breaks food down and saliva softens the food. The tongue pushes the food down your throat and it travels down the esophagus into the stomach. Your mouth is the first place where mechanical digestion takes place, and chemical as well. Stomach, this is where chemicals known as acids break down the food. Another example, as far as a fun fact goes, the lining of your stomach is replaced every 3 days because the chemicals, the acids that are in your stomach are so harsh in order to break down all the different types of foods that it takes a beating on your stomach. So your stomach lining is always replaced every 3 days. So let's say today is Monday. Well, you'd have a new lining of your stomach by Thursday because the other one has broken down and been replaced. Your small intestines, this is where your chemicals from your liver, your pancreas, and gallbladder break down the nutrients. After they are broken down, they are absorbed by the villi in the small intestines. The large intestines, this is where water and other materials are absorbed. Remaining solid materials, known as waste, are compacted and stored, then eliminated through the rectum. The liver filters blood, it stores unneeded nutrients for later, produces bile that breaks down fats and medicines, produces proteins to help clot blood. Gallbladder is where the bile is stored, and the pancreas lowers the acidity in small intestines and breaks down proteins, fats, and starches. And this is another diagram of the digestive system where everything's located and what they're called. And here are the resources that I used.